How you doing, fam? How you doing? This is Community First. I want to talk about religion and politics. I need to expound on this for my followers. How you doing, subscribers? I need to expound on this. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. First of all, we all know that for the most part, religion and politics don't mix. However, we have been using these talking points. Um, the political talking points are alive and well right now due to something that's needed. It's very sensitive in the air, especially in terms of reparations for Black Americans and ADOS and different things or what have you. Those talking points are alive and on the table. However, we as Black people have adopted many different religions. And I think it's because we have been harmed as a community and denied things as a community to struggle and fight for just to have some dialogue and try to find our way throughout religion. And if we notice, religion is a sensitive subject, it's a sensitive subject. This is not to down anybody's religion. I was raised and born and bred through the church even before I knew myself as a child. So that's where my faith is of the church. Now, we know there's different type of churches. We got the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, which are different. And we got the Apostolic and the Church of God in Christ and so on. There's a different type of churches, and they all respect the existence of Jesus Christ and our Creator and Maker and the Supreme Being, but they have a different ideology of how to reverence Him, become before our Creator. So everybody's different. Now, what I want to say about religion and politics, and the reason I say that this is important, and the Black people mainly have come in contact with different religions. We got Nation of Islam, we got the Jehovah's Witnesses, and then we got the Hebrew Israelites. At this time, it's a concern to me, maybe not should be, but I look at different things and I see that you got the Hebrew Israelites, which they have a ideology that come from the scriptures, which talk about being in captivity and that the 400 years is up. And there was an anniversary not too long ago in terms of 400 years of captivity being up. So this is a direct thing for them to also declare it is a prophetic thing, and it has happened and executed itself. So they're definitely saying, okay, now their religion is right. One thing about religion that I think concerns me is that every religion, most of them, they think that they are the only ones to have it right, each religion, including the church. But not all people that are in that religion believe that. A lot of people are open-minded and conscious to know that God is too big to be put in one place. So everybody, I think that most religions think, well, we got it right and the other ones don't. So that allows you the space to be opposed to another group, especially in terms of community and Black people. Well, what we have struggled, we have the Nation of Islam has their religion, and I appreciate it because it's a healthy place for young men, especially due to their respect to the Nation of Islam, that they are productive and that they are respectful and they have a place outside of they have a detour from being dismantled in community and in trouble and everything else, especially young men. So that's a beautiful place. Most religions are like that. They keep people out of trouble and everything like that. The concern to me is that it develops everybody's private segment. It develops people from being a community and together. It divides to me on some levels. Now, there's nothing wrong with you having your faith in your religion. However, I think it's a time and a place to keep from interjecting that because it becomes extremist. Being a person that is in religion, in terms of a supreme being, which I am a believer, and I believe in God, and I come from the church. Now, I respect everybody's religion. We got Jehovah's Witnesses, we got Hebrew Israelites, we got the Nation of Islam, we got the church and different type of churches and everything like that. And I know that everybody has a faith, so we understand that. However, when you're dealing in religion, you have to know how far to go in terms of respect, in terms of as in my assessment, and as I look, due to the fact that religions can be considered to be cultish, kind of like a cult. But then everybody, it's only one God. So a lot of religions are being taken out of context, and they're using the context of the Bible to create their own religion. There are religions who come to you and say, let me teach you my religion. Open your Bible and let me teach you my religion and how you should believe and where you should believe God is and who he is and how to respect him. So the Hebrew Israelites, they coming from a place where they understand that the captivity that we were in as a people were due to us worshiping the wrong God, and that we came from this person and that person, the three brothers, and so forth. And but enlightenment of religion is a sacred place for each family and individual. And the reason I want to say that religion and politics don't mix is because politicians are Caesar laws, and there was a gentleman from the Hebrew Israelite trying to basically align the ADOS movement with the Hebrew Israelites. And what the ADOS movement represents and what the political agenda of ADOS represent has nothing to do with religion. Those are justice claims, like a debt. If you owe somebody, you pay them. Every man must be paid for his wages also. So this is like really extremist when you start, and I know a lot of us can't help it when we do that because we're so captivated into our ideology of religion, and we don't understand that there's a place for that. When you go into religion, you are deserving the right to be in that space. However, religion and a business is kind of different, don't you think? You don't get to say that, well, ADOS is not this and not that because you are a Hebrew Israelite. If you are a black person, then you are in this country, native to this country, you are an American descendant of slavery. This is a humanitarian crime that we're talking about in terms of justice claims, in terms of law, in terms of economic wealth, in terms of what somebody owed you. Has nothing to do with religions and a religion group. And some people think it does, and they'll go all into the expression and the dialogue and the ideology of it and push those talking points into political when it's religion. When it's how you revere God, it's how you revere the Almighty. It has nothing to do with somebody owing you money. It may have something to do with your characteristics and how you're supposed to be in reverence to people, but it has nothing to do with a justice claim. See, this is transparent that when you have been experiencing a humanitarian crime, you see, that's why I think black people were dismantled in terms of religion as it pertains to community. And religion is also it's a concern to me because it leaves people in a space where they can separate themselves from other groups and say that a lot of religions have the agenda, the iota of saying that they're the only ones who got it right. So if you're saying you got it right, then you're saying the other group got it wrong. However, everybody in religion is not like that. Some people have an open mind and a conscious place of thinking where they understand that God is too big to be put in one box. So there's only one God. So how can you say this other group has it wrong and you have it right? Now, that may be your faith, and that may be, I think all religions have problems. One may have this wrong, the other may have this right. That's how we were created. We were all created equal. And you might have a good strategy and a good point and a very powerful point about who you are as it pertains to religion. However, there's something always left out. So, Jehovah's Witnesses, they stated themselves. I mean, and there's different things on every religion, but that's your faith. Let me get that right. That's your faith. You have a right to be in that faith, and that's fine. But when you start projecting it into business, then I think it's out of context. And then you become radical and extreme. And now you got a whole people following you in the ideology of religion, and we can't be community. See, black folk, we don't have the room to be divided. We don't have that room to be divided. We need to be a united front. And so then you got religious groups are very beautiful because they keep people in alignment with integrity and respect for the most part, like the Nation of Islam. Those people revere their religion, and the people are the leaders, and the young men are respectful and everything like that. And that's just what it is. If you notice, the Nation of Islam and Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X and him both had different religions, and they became allies after a while with an understanding. But at first, that's not the way it was. It went down different through the indoctrination of religion. Also, they became allies, but yet they both had very poignant talking points and effective talking points in terms of religion and groups. However, it has opened a place for us to be divided, and it's a cry for help, in my point, for Black folks. It's definitely a cry for help that we got dismantled as a community. And we were looking for our God, saying stuff like, well, we have been praying to the wrong God because this couldn't be happening so long unless we were praying to the wrong God and he wouldn't allow this. And, and I understand that that's a cry for help. We were wronged as a group, as our ancestors were the blood sacrifice of something very horrible. So community is a value of a family. Community is a connection of respect. Community is a beautiful private sector. It's a connection, and it builds family-oriented and wealth. And now we can exchange as a community if we have the tangibles in this society. That's what community is. It's a group of people that are united fronts and that have a jurisdiction together. But the Black community has been dismantled because of the wealth gap. And due to justice claim, things were not put in place. And this is speaking to the vast majority of Black Americans. And this is all the proof is in the pudding. So what I want to say about the community, and I'm glad my subscriber brought that up, is that it shouldn't be about whether we hate a people because of their skin color or we hate because of a race. It's about the value of exchange. In our society, there has been a system built here. And the way this system is run as a first world country is the value of economics, economic wealth, and there's been a perpetuation, there's been a manipulation in the community. And the thing about it, when you have community and it's divided because there's no knowledge, people don't have knowledge. And then on top of that, as a ADOS person, there has been an attack on the community, which is called institutionalized racism. When it comes down to people like places like Black Wall Street, that was almost like a city, basically, and other 200 other cities, and Rosewood that was attacked with militant force, bombed from the air with United States government equipment. That's a humanitarian crime and crisis. And people like Bill Clinton in office during the 80s, where he says 3 strikes you out when the war on drugs was planted in predominantly Black communities by the CIA, which we have the facts on that and the receipts that Gary Webb wrote the story, and he was later on assassinated, a Wright reporter. So that was the war on drugs planted in. But if we got all these different groups, which is good, we'll still come to a united place, but we need to take an account for that and take that in account where we understand that these places are there. Because ladies and gentlemen speaking, and they're talking, and some of them speaking out of their emotions and out of their religion. Now, they said Ronald Reagan was not a good president, one of my subscribers. I don't know if he was a good president or not, but I doubt if he was, because he gave illegal immigration amnesty. And what illegal immigration did was confuse our country. And he did put us in debt. illegal immigration confused our country. When he allowed them to have amnesty and to big business to reign in success, paying them low wages and confusing black employment, which was considered to be underclass. And they didn't have work and means to support themselves. However, this has nothing to do with the justice claim, because as a justice claim, we weren't supposed to be really working class people anyway. We were supposed to be able to build our own wealth and work within our own system and generate our own dollar and have respect for our fellow white Americans and our fellow American citizens as natives to this country throughout our constitutional rights as a protected class. But we were in the workforce and being replaced in the workforce in the 80s. So Coretta Scott King wrote that letter in 1991 as a concern, Dr. King's wife. So here we are now, and we've got ADOS moving, and we want everybody to respect it. Definitely white people, respect it. Because you know what? When I owe somebody, I pay them. This is about America, the United States, and rectifications. Rectifying the situation so we can move on, so we can get things done. And actually, it's very interesting and appalling what has happened to ADOS people. I don't know why it's such a big conspiracy when it comes down to black people and their reparations. And people saying, is this enough money? Is that enough money? And black people don't really know what that is. I talked to a gentleman earlier. He didn't even know what reparations was. And he's a professional. He drives the trains inside my city. So he was like, what is that? He didn't even know. So I had to tell him, this is really, really at home with us. And this political agenda now that concerns us as a community is very much so needed. It's not about, like I said before, being racist or being biased on religious groups jumping in. People are getting emotional about what's due as a justice claim to a group of people. You see, that's because you've been indoctrinated and you've been confused, predominantly black folks and all other groups as well. But I'm more worried about the black people because in terms of community and religious groups, we got the Hebrew Israelites saying stuff like they believe ADOS is this because of the Hebrew Israelites. That's radical. And this person got followers. And I want to read something from a subscriber. It says, is it true that the Gore should have won the election in 2000 because he won the popular vote when the Congress stopped continuing the votes? Well, you know, that I'm not going to get into. I'm going to say this right here. Politics is changing so fast. I mean, which is a good thing. President Donald Trump, I can say this, opened up the talking points for these discussions, first and foremost. And a lot of us know that. And a lot of us are proud that we put him there because he was the transparency of government, because he wasn't speaking in a heavily politician way. And Barack Obama misrepresented himself. He was not a black American necessarily. He misrepresented himself, which a lot of Democrats do. And black people realize that Democrats are mimic black people talking points and mimic and try to align themselves with black people characteristics to get their vote, which is very insulting. So I would rather deal with transparent government before I deal with something that's misleading, and then I get the benign and neglect. Because this is about government and people are taking it personal. This is not about whether I hate you or your family. This is about the conspiracy of the law and what has happened and what we have allowed to happen unknowingly and what our ancestors left us with. This is what this is about. And yes, we do want rectifications, and we do need rectifications of what happened to us. And we need, as a humanitarian crime, as ADOS. And we also need to our constitutional rights valued. This is in terms of law, our constitutional rights that was already agreed upon, stamped and signed, but we never exchanged on it. So every other group were able to do that in terms of history and what has happened even up until now. There are people still in Mississippi sharecropping. I mean, slavery was turned loose in terms of physical slavery. You getting whooped and going around with a shovel or a hoe, working in the garden and being whooped and beaten and legal to kill you, that stopped. But the economic slavery is in effect, and it's harming and damaging. And now other groups, in terms of Donald Trump, as it pertains to him being president, he aligned himself with moving other groups that are coming here, reigning as a renaissance off the success and the blood sacrifice of people who have been forgotten. And we're intellectual and educated. Doctors, lawyers, and other people going to our HBCUs, build an empire on predominantly poor areas, disenfranchised Black communities, making a killing. They down buying plates from them and not speaking our languages, putting restaurants and stuff in there and gas stations and all that, sharing the camaraderie of business with our fellow Americans, with our fellow white Americans who were in power over this great nation that we built an empire. As ADOS had to serve to blood sacrifice and be the battery of everyone else's success. And we spend the most money. So what Donald Trump was aligning himself with was actually, whether he knew it or not, was helping Black people. But the Democrat Party started fighting against him to keep them. Because they didn't care about you no way. All they wanted was a seat in government and to reign off your success. So we come to terms, most Black people have come to terms with Democrat Party has been a fraud. And then they try to get us by saying President Trump is racist, he's racist, he's racist. That has nothing to do with business, and that's an insult to continue to say that. And then we realize we're not really insulted. It's basically you don't have any knowledge. And that's just how far your mind goes. Whether somebody get offended or not, this is bigger than you. Business, this is business. The United States government is a corporation. It's really not a country. So when President Donald Trump came in, he opened those talking points because now all the American citizens are coming in contact with the debris of immigration. Being on our tax dollars, coming in here, reigning Renaissance and everything else, and now turning the country socialist. But what they did was allow people who look like us, that are Haitian immigrants and Jamaicans, to come in here and anchor babies to get in our government system. They don't understand us, and they were trying to turn our country socialist. And Black Americans don't like that either. ADOS people don't like that because we understand our system. We don't need to. People are coming from other places that are in poor nations and coming over here with an ideology and disrespecting the people that are here. And America wants to apologize and needs to apologize, basically needs to all her children, so we can get on with the get on and we can rectify our cause and move on and have a transparent, balanced government in terms of law, in terms of our own citizens and the natives here in this country. We got immigrants up in there. I mean, it's going a long way. We got immigrants up in there saying that Black people in this country are immigrants, all Black people. It's because she was an anchor baby, which is Angela Rye. She going around saying that. See, stuff like that. That offended Black people. We're not immigrants, we're native. We're America's children. And some of us actually are mulattoes. I mean, we're just Americans. Whatever our ancestors did, that's what they did. And now we have to rectify it. And there is a justice claim. And I am ADOS. I'm American descendants of slavery. Whether I'm successful, whether I'm a conscious person or in business or have a degree or anything like that, I reflect in community. Community is a powerful place. And other people are coming in here, building empire in our community, reigning in success, breaking the law, and laws being made for them. They are asking for reparations also over our heads. This is ridiculous. And then they're interjecting their comments on what we should do and dictatorship and how we should do, and they need to be quiet because they don't really know what they're up against. They don't know what they're up against because blood is thicker than water. Because all we natives are at home, regardless of what color we are. So there are some people that are saying, yeah, this is true. And in terms of Donald Trump opening that up, that aligned everybody together. That opened something up. So ADOS is being discussed already. We don't care about the Democrat Party trying to shock us and scare us about somebody being racist. And that march in Charlottesville was even not about Black folks. It was concerning the Jews. But see, we looked at tiki torches and certain words, and we were traumatized by that because of our history. anything that happened to us. And I don't think any group or anybody should be opposed to justice claims when it comes down to American descendants from slavery. That was a very indefinite and hard, transparent act that everyone knows about. We were the blood sacrifice of which produced milk and honey, which is the great United States. This is a first world country. There's no way descendants of slavery should be living in any type of disarray in their country that brings milk and honey in this magnitude. And Dr. Yvette Carnell and others are teaching, and Antonio Moore are showing us where a lot of Black people really can't even afford to be Americans. And then we got other groups coming in here being protected as a protected class. Sanctuary cities being made, people coming here on our welfare system illegally, other groups hiring their own people illegally, practicing gentrification. It's not just about racism and whites anymore. It's got other people coming here practicing gentrification as well. On our laws, they riding our coattail, civil rights laws. During 1965, Martin Luther Jr. King, we got out there and we fought for them to be here. And then they come here and try to lean to the powers that be, and white folks don't even want them here. So they need to be quiet because we're family. And then they got something to say about us working with our fellow white Americans because we're constituents and we should be in business camaraderie together. Because, they want us to say something about it, but, and tell us what to do about us working with our own people and dealing with our cause. They don't have any dogs in this race and all of that. And this is bigger than somebody saying, oh, they racist, these racist. I'm tired of Black people using them silly talking points. We know about institutionalized racism and we're going to correct it. It's not just about acting off emotions and making your unintelligent reaction to the fact that somebody may be racist or something like that and using those beneath talking points when this is business. You see, and it's bigger than that. So we don't need people rocking around like a slave, talking about, they're talking points on the go this far and saying this and that, but we want to educate is what we want to do. We want to educate our people and we want to get our people out of dire situation because there has been a perpetuation on our people. And we have suffered even when we did come into a camaraderie of wealth. It was attacked in a militant force. And these are the things that really happen. Jews got reparations, Indians got it, the Japanese got it. Now it's time for us so we can collectively get our community together as in terms of wealth. However, this is what a lot of groups in immigration is coming to learn is that they're out of their jurisdiction. They're saying they're Americans because it's a beautiful place. It's the first world country. And I don't think a lot of people realize how wealthy America really is. They don't have the knowledge. They're not looking into it. They're not looking into the value of America. And I'm going to be unapologetically a truth teller. That's what I'm going to do. Because I know we need the truth, regardless who was wrong. Of course, my people were wrong. Of course, American descendants of slavery was wrong for many centuries and dealt with brutal and heinous intent, and very wronged and used as a blood sacrifice through child slavery to build a great nation and have not yet exchanged on no 40 acres and a mule or neither the value of it. So we were left to exploitation and to be left to even be opportunists. And a lot of our people that are basically rich are like gangster rap and all that. A lot of those people are degenerates. They're not really doing anything, and they got sized in something that we look at. What we do is when we see wealth, that is what we call the American dream. But it's according to how you get it, where you're going to be locked up at. We're supposed to be already a protected class. And we believe in transparency in terms of government. However, religious groups need to be careful. We don't need I respect the Hebrew Israelites. I think you guys are beautiful people. You're onto something, but do not be on there saying anything about ADOS concerning whether it's good or bad because you are his Hebrew Israelite. That has nothing to do with religion or justice claim. That's nothing to do with that. And you need to know that Black people don't have room to be separated. And we need our justice claim so we can become Americans. So thank you for listening, but I really want to encourage people to slow down on the religious exchange. Religious exchange that's not political, that's not business. People are radical. When you got followers, which I know that some people are not going to make it. They're going to be over there in their religious groups and all of that, and that's okay. Everybody have a right to their religious group, but don't mix religion with business. You know, we interjecting our religious beliefs into politics. That's really silly. Everybody has their own place how they want to revere God, but that's not business. You know, every man's supposed to be paid for his wages, period. Simple as that. And I want to encourage and understand what we're doing here. And this is great. So I appreciate you joining me. And next time I come back, I'm going to talk about a few other things that I can expound on that are very interesting topics. But for foremost, I think everybody should appreciate Black America coming to their senses to try to use more integrity in alignment with the respectful exchange with our fellow Americans and with our society. Because we have been dismantled and been emulating bad character throughout our hardship and throughout what has happened to us, especially our children. And they use the name Pookie and Ray Ray and all that. Now, Pookie and Ray Ray and gangster rap and different things, a lot of people have been doing things that are uninviting throughout all these different elements coming upon them. And they bought into it and embraced it. But now, Pookie and Ray Ray making videos because they feel like they're a part of something. So I'm proud of ADOS. And I want people to know everybody should be proud that Black people have come to a content that they want to rectify in terms of integrity, in terms of law, to have something to appease them as an inviting individual and a group that cares, that possess integrity and prestige. That's what you should be thankful for. When I see that you're not, then you're just being jealous and silly. Every other group got what's owed to them. Let's let our group have a mirror of success also in these great United States, because we're definitely owed. And the disenfranchised become something if they can. When the families got busted up because of the war on drugs and all kinds of problems, emotional problems due to chattel slavery and institutionalized racism, that was real. Regardless if it's nobody's saying individuals are racist or you racist or he racist, we dealt with a system that promoted that, unfortunately. Now we got here. So other people had to, were scarred by that as families, as group of people. They were also scarred by degenerates. So now that's, they are part of feudalism. And now we're trying to dismantle that. So everybody should be proud of that. So we can dismantle it and build a reflection of success among people that have been suffering and don't even have knowledge. We can facilitate areas, generate wealth, and get these people to be more approachable and understanding. So they just won't be out here all over the place like a herd of cows, committing crimes, doing everything undesirable, because people get hurt when you commit crimes. People get robbed, different things like that, opening themselves to all kind of exposure of abuse. That's not healthy. So we definitely need economic wealth in this system. We're not Africans where we over pissing in the river. We're in a first world country. We're not Haitians and Jamaicans and all of that. They have their own fight. Now they can come here and respect our nation and respect us, but they don't get to dictate and sit around and try to dismantle people with all kind of unresolved knowledge they don't have. See, so be happy for us. And stand with us if stand with us, because we're not going anywhere. This is a intelligent, productive, educated, intellectual, respectful, integral pursuit. This is what this is. So thank you for joining me. This is CF Community First, and I appreciate it very, very, very much. And thank you, subscribers, for subscribing to my channel. I'm glad y'all here. I didn't get a chance to answer all y'all questions, but I love y'all. And y'all come back and see me, and my commentary will be more defined. I will come with more content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I love everybody. But thank you for joining me. Community First, this is Harper. I appreciate you, subscribers. Subscribe, click the button, press the like button, and I'll come back with more content. And thank you for your encouragement. Have a wonderful and beautiful evening.